Okay, circles. I know this can be a little bit challenging, but I actually took this class just specifically in order to learn how to sew a damn circle. So I know it's not the easiest thing in the world. Maybe you need to put on your favorite I Am Awesome t-shirt in order to prepare yourself for this, but you can do it, right? It's actually not that complicated to piece in a circle as opposed to just sewing in a straight line. So we're gonna go over that today because, yay, my fabric line has a quilt pattern in it that is based on circles. And I wanted to do that specifically, first of all, to kind of really show the fabric itself and let it breathe without being, cut up into little tiny pieces. But then secondly, I also wanted to show two different ways to do circles. Obviously, we probably all know how to applique a circle onto, right, another background. No problem, right? But this quilt will combine both of them. So some piecing of circles, but also some applique as well. So that's what we're gonna be doing. And I'm gonna show you just really quickly an approach to circles that's very simple. And from there, you should be able to do just about any size, but these same principles will apply to any circle that you're piecing into a surrounding piece, all right? So let's get started. All right, for this demonstration, I'm going to be showing this fabric, right, with the little anchors on it, as the inset circle. So that'll be the circle, and then the background will be this kind of wavy fabric, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is determine what we want the finished circle to be once it's pieced in, right? And so for me, I'm gonna want a finished, because sorry, the math is going to be a little bit not just on the number, just because this is where I'm headed with this design, and quite frankly, this is my practice. Sorry. But I want a 6 3/4 inch finished circle inset, right, pieced into the work. And so you have to add 1/2 inch into the circle itself, and then you have to minus 1/2 inch for the background. Okay, so what does that look like? Let's look at that. Oh, and P.S. You won't believe it, but like these fabrics that I got here, I got them at Walmart. I know the purists are probably like gonna freak out, but I cannot believe the price of fabrics that you can get at Walmart. I mean, I never thought I'd be a Walmart shopper, but like someone's got to pay for this house here, and it's me. So like you can get. I mean, trust me. I mean, I wouldn't use them on a really important piece, but when you're just doing baby quilts and stuff like this, I mean, it was like $3 a yard. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, if you're quilting on a budget, like I know most of us are, then you might want to check that out too, because I was really surprised when I found that the other day, and the quality is really not that bad. Okay, again, I wouldn't use it for like special pieces, but if you're just doing a baby quilt or a little gift or something that's not going to get washed a lot, why not? So anyways, that's an option. Free tip. Okay, and moving on, let's go. Okay, so I've decided just to not do the tricky math. We'll just do a simple version here, just so that we are all clear, and then once we know how to do the circles, we can adjust the math as needed. Just don't be surprised that when my pattern comes out, it's gonna be a little tricky. No, it won't be. If you can get this down, it'll be no problem. Right? Okay, so we're gonna do a 5-inch circle. Hold on. All right, so this is it here. And you may want to actually kind of sketch this out for yourself. So the finished circle is going to be 5 inches in this case, right? The solid line is what we're actually going for, finished product in the quilt. Now, you want to add a 1/2 inch to the circle itself. Right? So in this case, the circle is going to be made of the gray fabric with the anchors, right? So I'll make a note that the gray fabric is going to be, since we're adding 1/2 inch, is going to be 5.5 inches from here to here when I cut it. Okay? Now the background, which was this wavy fabric, is going to get minus a half an inch. So the background circle that I'm going to cut the hole in is going to be 4.5 inches, right, for background. Right? So just for me anyhow, visually, and I'm sorry if you're seeing this upside down, it just helps me to write these numbers down so that I'm clear as I'm cutting what exactly it is that I'm going to do. So again, the expectation is the final product will be 5 inches across. So the hole that I'm going to cut into the background is going to be 4.5. And the circle itself that I'm going to be cutting out and inserting into the background fabric is going to be 5.5 inches. Cool? All right, so let's cut that out and then start to put them all together. So for my background fabric, I have a protractor that is at 2.25, right? Which is halfway because I'm doing 4.5. Right? So then I have just kind of lightly traced this to make my 4.5 inch circle. And of course I'm going to double check it, but just in pencil I find to be very effective. And let's double check, is it 4.5 like I wanted? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's cool. First step done. Now I just have to go through here and cut that out. But then I want to do the same thing on my fabric that is going to be the actual circle. Again, that previous one was, you know, I might do it on the back just so that the pencil shows up easier. That was the background. This one is the actual circle. So it needs to be 5.5. So I'm going to do 2.5 for 5, and then another quarter. So there you go. We got 2 3/4 on the protractor. Got that measured, and just try and get that marked out. Oop, lost my center. There we go. Luckily it leaves a mark, so you know right where it is. Look at that. Okay, I don't know if it's showing up on the camera or not, but you know, I can see it, so let's double check. It is, look at that, 5.5. I am very happy with that. So now I'm gonna cut both of these out, and away we go. So far so good. We have our circle that is cut at 5.5, and we have our background that is cut at 4.5. Easy peasy, right? No problem. Okay, cool. So next what we want to do is take our circle, right, and essentially determine its quarter points. Now you can very lightly iron this or just finger press it. Either way will work. You're just trying to create a registration mark, right? A little crease or fold to determine where it is folded in half, and then fold it in half the other direction so that you, and make sure you line those up, right? So that you know where halves are and where quarters are. And we're gonna do this again one more time at one point, but hold on a second. Let's just get these 4 marks noted, okay? So you probably can't see it, but there's 4 little creases now in there where I know where that is. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the background. So with the background, same deal, right? Line it up, and finger press should be enough, but again, you could hit it with the iron really lightly if you wanted to get that in there a little bit more. All right, see 2 creases that direction. Let's turn it a quarter of the way and repeat the same thing. And again, line your first 2 marks up at the top so that you know, in fact, you're really getting right on the quarters. Okay, so now I have 4 marks. So we got our 4 marks here and our 4 marks here. You're going to, look, this is the right direction, right? That's what we ultimately want. It gets flipped over so that they stay face to face, and I'm just looking at these two registration points. I'm going to grab some pins, my manly pin cushion, and line those up and just really lightly just tack those together right there. Fold this on over and then fold it under so that face to face goes together again. Is this clear? Right? Where's my mark? There it is. Because it's just creases, it's sometimes a little bit hard to see, but that's all right. So then I'm just going to pick this up and grab it here and make sure that these lines are in fact lined up. Let me just double check this. Here it is. There it is. Okay. Those two lines are lined up. No problem. Okay. Right? So you see what I did there? Right? And then you just do it with the other two marks as well. Make sure that these are lined up. Coming in at it this way. And again, make sure your two fabrics are face to face. Get those registration marks lined up. Those little finger creases right there. And then the last one will do the same, right? So it just gets a little folded under. And then let's take a peek at it back here. And there it is. It's a little easier if you mark it, but I didn't want to do that because on this one behind me, oh my gosh, I marked it and now for whatever reason the wash away ink is still visible all these years later, and that's never fun. So you end up with this kind of mess. Right? Where it's just kind of ballooning and sitting on top of the other one, all right? So we're really gonna now take it to the other side, the back side, which is where we're gonna be working here. And we're going to essentially do the same thing, which is put these two pins together to find the halfway mark, right? Finger press or mark that. Same with the other fabric to find the halfway point and get that noted. And then yes, do the same thing. And now we'll line these two marks up. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not, but hopefully just by the way I'm describing it and what you can see. I need a cameraman. Anybody know somebody? Just come over to my house. All right, so again, lining these two pins up, finding the halfway mark on each one, noting it with a little finger press, and get the other one. It gets so delicate at this point. Finding the halfway mark on both of them, and then lining them up, and easy enough, right? So we're just going to keep going around and doing that until we have 8 pins in the work. Got it? All right. All right. I have my 8 pins in there, right? From the other side, it kind of looks like this, right? It's like a little bun sitting on top. And then, but I'm going to be sewing it from this side, okay? So I'm going to pick this up like this and take it to the sewing machine and start sewing 1/4 of an inch along here, making sure that these two fabrics line up as you go. Okay, I have my 1/4 inch foot on, and I'm going to start to sew this. Again, making sure that I keep the fabrics, because one is arching kind of one way, one is arching the other. Your main purpose is to just keep, as you go, lining them up. Now it is going to be on the bias, so you're going to have a little bit of stretch there. Just don't stretch it out of shape too much. You'll be very sad if you do. Okay, so let's get started. Put this in here very carefully. And, all right, find a spot where I'm feeling comfortable and confident, probably just beyond a pin, right? Where we can. All right, get that going. And then just start going around very, very slowly. Again, making sure that, gosh, it's hard to see here, but your edges out here that are next to the foot, right? That your edges here, right, are always lining up right along here as you're feeding it through the machine. Whew, that made me sweat. Oh my gosh, things in my studio tend to be quite warm anyways with the irons running and everything, and it's just, anyhow. So, look, you can see that I've gone around and just, I mean, you have to really be careful and go almost, stitch by stitch as you're going along and sewing this down to make sure that the other side is cooperating and its edge is aligned with the circle's edge, right, as you go all the way around. So now it's inserted, right? Now I have to kind of go through and iron it, and that's where you really work it open. What you want to do probably, I would suggest, is iron the seams open rather than both of them to one side. Take the dark one to the dark side and the light one to the light side. All right, we're ready to get rolling here. Just make sure that this is up and running, and I have my fabric, okay, here. And so I'm going to turn it over on the wrong side. Let's focus. Hello. Oh, there we go. And then just really gently go in there and start opening those seams. Right. And then just go all the way around and iron that open. Just go slow. Right, then it's just ironed open, and there you have it. The circle actually pieced into the background, right? Now, it takes a little bit of practice, and if you get a little pucker in there, a little gather, just go in and, take your seam ripper, take it out, and just do that little part again. But with a little bit of practice, anybody can do this, just inserting a circle onto, pieced into the background. So I hope that that was helpful. As always, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. I am awesome. You are awesome. We can do circles.